talk about the Apple brand and its ties to Steve Jobs is brand expert Ron Frankel, who is out in L.A. You know, we talk about this often, Ron, with Berkshire Hathaway, for example, and Warren Buffett, where people say no one can replicate what he did. Is that the sense that nobody can replicate what Steve Jobs has done? How important is Steve as he's intertwined with the genetics of Apple?
Well, not as important as calling me Rob, by the way. That's okay. But the fact of the matter is that if you have a strong brand, a strong brand is going to outlive anybody and everybody. And the smart thing is that even though I don't know Jobs personally, I can tell you this: the only thing stronger than his drive and his ego is his quest for visions and his legacy. And even though I don't know him personally, I could pretty well suspect that he has a vision that goes down 3, 5, 10, maybe even 20 years down the line for what this company should be.
But Ron, I mean, in all fairness here, you know, there is, I mean, who is the clear successor to Steve Jobs? I mean, when Steve Jobs launches a new iPhone, a new iPod, it is a worldwide event. It is broadcast live and streamed throughout the world. I mean, is there someone else that can kind of bring that kind of fervor and excitement and anticipation to Apple?
Well, if you go on YouTube, you can see Steve Ballmer kind of jumping around like a monkey and sweating a lot and doing the same thing.
Wrong company.
The fact of the matter is, yeah, I know. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't take a whole lot. You got to keep your eye on the ball here. It's Apple that's the brand. I wish Steve Jobs nothing but great health for the next 50, 100 years. But the fact of the matter is whether he retired or whether he suffered any other kind of misfortune, the company and the brand is way stronger than just one human being.
Hey, Ron, but isn't it part of branding your company in general to have a succession plan? You know, as we were saying, as awful as it sounds, any CEO could get hit by a car on the way to work. Or with Apple, they have had 3 amazing products. Even just the technological advances, the odds of coming out with a 4th are somewhat against them. So I think that most people are hoping to hear about a little bit more about what Apple has going on in the coffers as far as who could take Steve's place going forward.
Well, there are a lot of people who could take it, and very, very rarely. There's only one real case that I could think of where a company didn't have a succession plan and they really relied on the founder, and that was Wendy's Dave Thomas. The minute Dave Thomas disappeared, the whole company pretty much tanked and went into oblivion. As far as Jobs go, he set the corporate mold, the discipline, so well that that's the standard everyone else is going to have to do. Look at also what happened at Disney when Iger died. Not so Iger, when
Eisner left.
The second guy died.
Oh, yeah, Frank Wells.
You know, when
You're talking
Eisner
about Frank
left,
Wells?
When Frank Wells went down, absolutely. He was thought to be absolutely irreplaceable. But you know, once the mold is set, and if it's set carefully by that founder, as it was with Disney, you find the person to fill it. And there's a lot of qualified people, especially in Apple, that does not have a huge turnover. These are people who believe in the dream.
Yeah, and Rob, I would also argue, too, that he was very good at hiring the right people to develop things like the iMac in its early years, where it came out in different colors. That might not necessarily have been his particular idea, but he had these idea labs, you know, sprouting up, and so he was very good at pinpointing smart people who could then take that vision and run with that ball.
Absolutely, absolutely. And don't forget, just because they've had 2 or 3 hits does not mean that they won't have 6 or 7. It's wrong to peg Apple as a product company. They have a vision, and their products fulfill those visions, which is what a good branded company does. They use their products to fulfill the promise of the brand, and Apple has a very, very far-reaching brand.
Rob, really quick, just real fast, he's going to get asked about this on the call. He's going to get asked. If you were advising him, what would you tell him to do?
I would tell him to do what Apple has really been known to do, and that is tell the truth. It's what I tell all my clients to do.
All right.
Tell the truth and let them know that you have a solution and assuage their fears. Now,
Rob?
that may mean that he has to announce that they do have a succession plan if this rumor is true.
Right.
And believe me, these rumors have been swirling around on the internet for about 4 years.
We're going to leave it there.
Much.
Rob Frankel,
Rob,
thank you.
with a B.
And Tracy Burns as well.
That's your brand, Rob.